Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Deborah Westbrook, and for those of you who are on YouTube, welcome. We talk about the integration of science and spirituality. I start these on Facebook, put them on YouTube, so just excuse me if I wait just a couple minutes only for some people to join, and then we get started. We talk about the integration of science and spirituality so that it helps you expand your awareness and your conscious awareness that you are unconditionally loved and accepted by God, source, universe in which you participate, in which you create. So I'm going to do all these introductions for those that come on YouTube, and we'll wait a minute before we get started. I hope you're all doing good. This topic, man, I'm telling you, I've spent extensive time studying this, and I feel like I've just scratched the surface. And all those years that I was studying science, you get rusty, and so you have to help your mind start to learn again. And as I said in the last Facebook Live, it is a spiral learning. And it is that when you begin to read and study, at first it may seem like gibberish, you don't get it. But then the more, it's like going up that staircase of spiral learning, the light comes on in and through you, and you begin to comprehend that which you're reading. And you'll have those aha moments that will apply directly to you. And you will suddenly realize that these things are really ministering to me, touching me, and helping me grow. So give me a minute. I hope everybody's doing okay as you add. I've entitled this, The Holographic Universe, and Why Does It Even Matter to You? Why does it even matter to you that you know science and spirituality? Well, for one reason is because religion was so literal in its interpretation of everything and locked so many people down in fear and a very closed narrative that you were never able to explore your authenticity, you were never able to explore your own sovereignty, you were never able to explore your creativity, and it locked you down into a form and a substance that is far less than what you could have even imagined. So let's get going. And for those of you catching on the replay, I really appreciate it. So these topics I'm going to cover over a period of several weeks, and I've got almost a methodical way of doing this because my heart is that you will understand what it is I'm saying so that it ministers to you and it creates a curiosity in you to want to know more, but that you can incorporate these in your own life. The smallest revelation or the smallest insight you can incorporate into your own life. So in between these Facebook Lives, I'll post these on YouTube, and I'm also going to enhance them with Facebook posts that will start leading in a direction. I'm doing this because I love it. And I want to do this because I totally love it. So let's talk about the integration of science and spirituality. When you're going to integrate science and spirituality, you're going to lay a foundation. And you're going to lay a foundation to increase your spirituality by going outside the box of any religious notion or connotation. And what you're going to do is you're going to open people up to a curiosity so that it will expand them. The second thing, then, after we determine why we're learning this, we're going to go into what a holographic universe is. What is it? And why is it important to you? And why is there even a connection that you need to know this? I mean, why is it important to you? Why do you need to know this? And what will it do for you? And how will it help you become everything that you're created to be and everything that you ever should be? So we're going to study about that. So let's get going. Okay, let me find this. Okay, first thing, creation is a flow of energy and information, okay, in which each part contributes to the whole. That is scientific fact. No one will doubt that. No one will refute that. You can't. You are entangled with everything and everybody. There is no division in energy. There is no division in the universe. You are there. Hey, Rita, accepted by the all, in the all, and you flow from the creative expression of your divine authenticity. So everything is a flow of energy information. We always say, this physicist Max Planck said, this is this divine mind. You can call it God, you can call it universe, you can call it source, but there is a divine mind that is not random, is not chaotic, but is a creator of intricately designed things that flow in the beauty of their purpose. So you are receiving information as a fractal, and we'll talk about that. Everything that is in God is in you. everything is latently waiting to awaken, and all knowledge of the whole can be taken from the part. A hologram is, as we talk about it, is this projection where when they take it apart, if they were to dissect this, every part of the whole would be in every part of the hologram. It contains the whole. Now you have to grasp that. So within you, there is nothing missing. You are not lacking. There is nothing outside of you that you need. You are whole, brilliant, and perfect, and you came into the earth realm that way. There is no doubt about that. And what the purpose is now is for you to remember why you're here and who you are, to experience life living in the world, but not of the world. So all knowledge of the whole is in you. You may not think you're brilliant. You may not think you know anything. You might have been put down and put into a case of fear. You might have been put in the back lines. You might have been told you're not that great, but in reality, everything is within you. And nobody can bring this out of you until you awaken, which also means healing from triggers or traumas. It means examining the lies that our subconscious has told us and what we believe, to be free in who we were created to be and who we are created to be. So I am not an illusion. I am not a projection. We see a lot of thought like somehow this is an illusion and this is an illusion, and the holographic principle, which we'll talk about, you're a projection. You're really not here. No, you really are here. And you are intricately interwoven in everything in the universe, including the stars, including the galaxy. You are not random. I am not random. I am not nebulous. I am not insignificant. And if you follow a train of thought in that belief to any degree, you become lost in the sea of your own thoughts. And that is not where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be pointed and sure in one thing, and that is you are whole and you are one in God. So if you're going to believe you're less than who you are, if religion has pummeled you with fear and you believe you are less than who you are, then what happens is you live from that narrative, and you're living from a downgraded opinion of who you are, and that somehow that will take you on a journey to find something outside of yourself that could fulfill you inside. That's one way to go when you're living in this total downgrade. But there's another way to go. And if you go the other way, what happens is, as you begin to deconstruct from some of your beliefs, you can get angry. And what happens is it elevates you to this high level of being where you're walking around going, I am creator, I am God. And you're building a theology or a belief system on something that is also really not true. In Hermeticism, there is something that says the begot, the begotten, the begot, that which births you, that which forms you, is not the begotten. There is a source. There is God, who you come from. So if I'm going to lose you on that reality, you can go now, because I truly believe I am in the divine mind of the divine mind, and I am part of this, but I am not this, of which is the ultimate creator. So you can go one of two ways. You can either go way out and deconstruct to the point where you believe that you're the master of the universe, which lacks humility, or you can go the other way and you're so downgraded as to believe that you need everybody but you telling you who you are. Both are wrong. There is a way in the middle to enhance your spirituality and to walk in humility, to know that you don't know it all, but you're going to keep moving one step at a time to expand yourself in this evolution that is truly going on throughout the planet. And that's where I am. I'm not waiting till I comprehend these things. I'm speaking them now in process, and as I'm speaking them to you, I am learning more as I'm speaking them out. If I was to retain all this till I arrived at some point where I knew everything, I would never speak. We are all on a journey. We all have a voice, and we're all meant to use it. And we won't always get it right. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm still in the process of learning this. So now, this is how I want to start. This is just a broad base I'm going to cover today, and I'm going to get more specific in the days ahead. So science interprets these things through wisdom and through analogy. I don't know if you've ever listened to Dr. Kay Fairchild. She takes the Bible and she interprets it not through literalism, which is a killer, but she interprets it through analogy. So you interpret science the same way. Out of science, I can pull deeper truths. I can pull how these things apply to me. Like, why would I teach you anything about the holographic universe unless you were able to appropriate it in your daily life? I'm not here to expound on lofty principles just to make myself look good. If I can get you to understand how you're part of this global macrocosm of God and that you are the express image, then I have done what I'm called to do. So science, I interpret through wisdom and analogy to understand deeper truth. I look at the holographic universe and I think, why does this matter? Why does quantum matter? Why does sacred geometry matter? Why should we even go into that? Why do the ancient wisdoms matter? Why does all this matter today where I stand? Well, because a lot of it, if you've come from any level of religious Christianity, that you have downgraded to a point where you're at some level, and I'm going to speak to myself. I was at some level of ignorance. The things I believed were so invalid to the reality of science in my life and my expanding spirituality that I locked down into a narrative that took me nowhere except into duality. So within science, there is an underlying divine interpretation of what's called esoteric concepts. Now, esoteric, now catch this. What that means is it's understood by a small number of people with special knowledge, that these were the initiates. But that's not true today. A mystery is the availability to be unveiled to anyone who walks on the path of curiosity. There are no special initiates who know more than you. They may be more awakened because they have chosen a journey to confound their own religious wisdom or to confound certain things in them that they have taken as fact that is no longer fact. So within science, this underlying divine interpretation is for everybody. You can look at it in any way you want, and it will enhance your curiosity and your spirituality. What it did for me is it took me out of all the literal lies that religious told me. And I'm not holding back today. You do not have to receive it. My video, my personal opinion, I'm not telling you to accept anything I say. But the reality is all the lies, and I'm going to get to in a minute, were such a version of classical physics, and I'm going to explain why, that it boggles my mind that people in this day and age would even believe in some of that stuff when the awareness all around us indicates that it is no longer true. So I want you to follow me before I get into the specifics about the holographic universe. I want to lay down a few things. I'm going to go slow because I know I'm a fast talker. Don't get scared. I'm going to tell you why the church and why religion is outdated and follows classical physics instead of hooking in to the energy of what quantum has shown us in a vast sea of awareness. And I've got to go back in history. In classical physics, it's something called determinism and separation. And what that means is everything's got to be reduced down to a level of understanding. Now that works in a physical world. We want to know that if I, for instance, throw a ball down the hill, what effect does gravity have on it? We want to know the practical things of the electromagnetic spectrum. We want to know these things that we've been taught in science because they help us in our physical life, but they don't translate into a higher level of understanding. So when quantum physicists came on the scene, as I said many times, they were confronted with, be quiet, this doesn't make sense. Because when you get so far down in matter that you're looking and looking and looking, you're going to get past the physical evidence of matter, and you're only going to see energy. And beyond energy, the universe is built upon information, the divine mind. So these classical physicists and classical realities fuels this desire to want to know. Give me the data. Give me the math. Show me. They do not usually take into account any metaphysical understanding. They don't think consciousness has anything to play in it. They may or may not believe in anything called God or source. They want a mathematical formula that's going to show them what the reality of the universe is so that their minds can understand it. But they never will. Because when quantum came around and then we discovered, wait a minute, there's subatomic particles we can't see. And that means we're all connected. And experiments started being made that proved that we are entangled. It boggled the mind in so many ways that they were unable to comprehend. And there were discussions and constant disagreements between what's real and what's not. So what it did was consciousness became the essential focus of the universe for many metaphysical people. Because the universe, in all of the sea of everything connected, we're here. Our consciousness plays a part in what we observe and how we create. And a couple Facebook lives ago, I showed you that I am the observed in the observer who's observing through me, showing me how to create a life according to my divine blueprint. So these concepts boggled the mind. We are all able to observe and co-create our lives. We're able to self-regulate our health. We are powerful people. We're able to balance our emotions through the chakras and knowing our auras without any interference. We are able to deconstruct so much in wisdom from the lies we've been taught that we find ourselves a free person in our authenticity exploring. That does not mean that you negate what we've learned in science, but there's a new way. Now, let's relate this to the church, because I was blown away when I started studying this, and I felt this. Don't get offended. This is how I really feel. In religion, it seems like everything has to be dissected into smaller parts. There has to be a cause and effect. Now, cause and effect only operates in time. There's no time in the mystery of the quantum realm. But what happens is that when you're living in linear time, there has to be a cause and effect. Now, how does this apply to religion? Most religion, and even most of Christianity, they eliminate mysticism. They eliminate the mysteries, and they're so into practical understanding. They're no different than the classical physicists that said, well, if this ball goes down this hill, we can calculate the momentum. Religion does the same thing. Sit in a church, don't question, don't ask, sit there, listen to a narrative, and I'm going to tell you what to think. I'm going to tell you you're a sinner. I'm going to tell you that the effect of being a sinner means you have to listen to me every week, and you have to make some ridiculous walk down the altar to raise your hand for a salvation that you neither need or should desire. And then I'm going to tell you that the cause of your sin, which I'm going to build up in fear in order to make a whole lot of money for my ministry or my church, then I'm going to tell you that you also then need to realize that if you don't do what I say, you're going to go to a place of hell. This denies this is just plain ignorance. This denies the most minimal understanding of quantum will show you how ignorant this is. Because you are in a non-locality. You are in the energetic realm and come down and manifest in a dense matter. But your essence of who you are, formed before the foundations of the earth, is still who you are. So there is no duality that you have to live in. And yet religion cultivates this duality and sincerely makes you dumb. I was so dumbed down, and I've said this and I'll just leave it at that. They establish a narrative of fear and a cause that makes you have to do something outside of yourself to alleviate that which they've already put in you. You want to eliminate fear? Then follow what I say. Come to the altar and suddenly, bam, from one stupid words, somehow you're going to be in heaven that is a place of duality that doesn't exist anyway. It's all within us. So that is how ignorant that their narrative has made us. And I'm telling you, leave right now. If you're in any kind of place like that, leave. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. They establish a separation somehow that Jesus is the way. There is no other way. When Jesus himself, I do not believe even came near to that being the quantum reality that he was in a long line of ancient tradition. Folks, Christianity is not the end all be all. If you start, and many of you have, okay, there's a long line of tradition of sacred symbols, of sacred geometry and quantum that permeates this, that raises our awareness to then truly see the beauty of Jesus for who he is. But no, they're going to tell you, they're not only going to tell you you're saved and now you're going to heaven or hell, they're now going to tell you how to live your life, which is to wait for someone who's coming, who's going to make it all right. So you never really live. And that's just what I've been thinking of, how much religion is like classical physics and why quantum physics is constantly ignored. You say chakras, you say auras, you say subtle energy bodies, you say Reiki healers, you say shamanism, you see remote viewing, clairvoyance, mediums, tarots, astrology, and it was all put in one basket of demonic stuff, and that is a lie. Yes, there are shysters out there. There always will be, who move in the ego and try to get your money to do a tarot reading. But there are also beautiful, intuitive people that are moving from the heart and able to discern energy and able to see auras and able to go through Reiki training to discern energy, to see where you're blocked. That is the reality of psychic abilities with the subtle energy. But if all you think you are is locked down here, you're never going to rise. Or if you think that Jesus is coming back, or you think anything the religious BS tells you is going to improve your spiritual wellness, no, God loves you, but you're living in ignorance. And you will always be loved, and you will always be accepted, and you will always be perfect, and you will always be brilliant. The only problem is you don't know it because you're listening to somebody else tell you who you always are. So now, let's see this. Why do we have to learn the hologram? This is the first topic I'm going to take on, okay? And I'm going to go real slow because I want you to get it. I got up at 4:30 this morning and I started asking a question within myself. And I was like, why is this trouble me? And I'm not going to go into the details. It's a science thing. And then I went and listened to my favorite physicist, who's called Nassim Haramein, and he answered it because he is a forerunner in physics right now that is debunking even some of the things that we've believed up to this point. And sometimes I have to listen to him a couple times before I'm even understanding and how I can make that reality come alive in me. So, what's a hologram? Let's start there. And why do you even need to know this? Why does it minister to you? Why will it help your spirituality? Why will it help show you who you are? And why this? Okay, so a hologram. Remember in Star Wars, Princess Leia? We always refer back to that example. Princess Leia was put into a hologram in front of Luke Skywalker. And literally, it looked like it had substance. She looked like she was real. But in actuality, she was a projection from what was called a 3D film. That film is two-dimensional. It's information. And through a scientific process, the hologram that is projected looks pretty real, but it's not. It's just an illusion. You can put your hand through it, you can walk around it, but it has no substance, or it appears to have no real substance. So it gets its energy directly from the film, which is essentially flat. So it appears real in every aspect, but it is a projection from the information on the film. And if I was able to take that hologram and cut it or destroy it, I would see that it is every piece in that hologram is 100% represented in the film. That hologram lacks nothing of identity that comes from the holographic film. Now that's a practical application of the hologram. So what can that little bit say to us spiritually if we know nothing else? You, my friends, are a fractal of God. No doubt, no discussion, case closed. If you get nothing else, you are here with the beautiful reality of everything you are, down to the very cells of your body, down to the very essence of the DNA. You are made of atoms and protons and photons of light, and down to the very bare essence of who you are. You are everything in the universe and connected to the universe. That is why Joni Mitchell could say you are stardust. You are golden. There is no separation. You are just not awakened to the latent power, the latent authenticity that lies dormant in you because we've been fed a lie. So if you get nothing else from that, that's good enough. To know that I have come from the reality. Well, let's just it goes deeper than this though, so stay with me. But let's just say this is all you get. Well, there's the film. Well, maybe the film could be like God. And everything that's in God is in me. And God projects me into this time. But am I an illusion? And this is where scientists are disagreeing on what exactly it means to be part of a holographic universe. So I see people posting constantly, I'm a hologram. Life is only an illusion. I'm not really here. I'm not. Well, then where the hell are you? If you're not here and you're being fed a New Age lie, which is as much a lie as a Christian lie, and you're looking for bliss or some higher reality that you don't have to live in life as you are now, you're just as deceived as the religious realities of the religious fundamentalism. There is a distinct, beautiful purpose why you're here. You are beautifully formed and chosen. You are not an illusion. So something's got to be wrong if all we see that film is just information putting us out, God's source just kind of putting us here in time to let us have at it and no direction and everything's an illusion and I'm going to deconstruct and into my awareness and I don't need this, I don't need that because I'm God. Okay, really? All right. I kind of scroll on by those posts now because I realize that the beauty of my Creator has so formed the very cells and the essence of the subatomic particles in my body to manifest Deborah as Deborah. And let me tell you something I also learned about the resonance, because I'm going to share with you how to connect. Well, I'm going to go about 45 minutes today. I'm going to share. It isn't enough to give you this theory. I want to share with you how to connect to this realm. And I'm not all going to do it one time today. But do you know that a tuning fork will resonate with another tuning fork, right? We know that. There sets up a resonance. But do you realize that the second, you can't resonate with that second tuning fork until there's a commonality in structure, in size, in energy. So see, folks, you are so finely tuned to the universe, to God, that you even won't feel good about resonating with anybody or anything, because there is a certain energy that is flowing from source that will show you how to resonate in the exact blueprint with which you've been created. Okay, so now, why does this all matter to us? Now, this is where I have to go slow, because this may be hard for people to understand. I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. When physicists were looking at this holographic principle, like there's the flatness of the one realm and the earth above it is just a hologram, they were interpreting it from a need to have data. How can we show this? How can we prove this without any understanding of the metaphysical aspect of it? Well, if I understand Nassim Haramein correctly, what he decided to do is to start playing to show the physicists that they weren't getting it, but to also show a level of spirituality in it that came from ancient wisdom. So without going into great detail, he started doing all this math work and all these equations, and he discovered a phenomenal reality. When he began to look at protons within the atom, small protons in a big universe, through scientific investigation, through math and through data, he discovered that the measurements contained within the essence of the proton was just a fractal of the essence of the whole universe. This little proton has everything that the universe has in totality. It is a holographic principle. It is a fractal of God. So you are not living in this flat illusion that you somehow come from a non-existent nebulous void that could just appeal to the mind and walk in consciousness. You are the living essence of the universe itself, who has given birth and form to you at this exact time, in this exact place, to be who you are called to be. If God has created a proton, which is so small, and you are filled with subatomic particles and energy, you are light, Jesus said. So if this proton, if this physicist could discover that in the proton was the essence of the whole universe, and that's the universe, how much does God love you to stand with you, in you, and through you as divine consciousness to live a life in the world, but not of the world, with power and creativity? We are so less thinking that we have been led to believe. I will expound on that in days ahead, but just think. You don't have to know science. You don't have to listen to what I'm listening. I'm devouring YouTube videos and books on this. So when I present this to you, that there's truth to it based upon my limited capacity. I'm not a physicist. I mean, I took all the sciences and all the math, but I'm not a doctorate in physicist, but I'm presenting to you what I think could help you. Now, you're not a projection from a lifeless stage of information. You're not going to, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. If you want to study this topic, you're going to see it all goes back to black holes, which I won't go there because I'm still learning that myself. Energy is neither created or destroyed. You are. I am. Neither destroyed or ability to be created over and over again. I always was. I always will be. I am in the I am. And I'm not a projection of some lifeless bit of information, but I am the living incarnation of the essence of the unfolding universe. And as the universe expands through consciousness, I am expanding with it. You do not have to think anything less of yourself. What do I want you to get out of today? I want you to shed your religious mind. Get rid of the idea that somehow the Savior's coming back to restore to you the essence of a kingdom. There's no Savior coming back. Christ is in you, the hope of glory. You are as God. Everything is within. Like Pam Post-Considine says, you're having a monologue with God, not a dialogue. You're changing your perception to what is in you. There is no heaven or hell that you're going to. There is no rapture. There is no political party going to save you. There is no specialty about America than any other nation of the earth. Because if other nations rise in consciousness and we don't, that will probably be our demise. And it will all be based on an awakened consciousness, never on laws or rules or rituals. So now you're not an illusion. Please stop saying that. You're in time. You're in space-time. And if you, thank you, Evelyn, if you understand anything about space-time, as matter moves through space-time, it creates a blip in the field. So you are sparking everything in your reality. So now a couple more things. You are a fractal holding within you all the information with every part of your being. Now let's think of the ocean analogy, and how I'm going to end this is I'm going to tell you something about the subtle body energies outside of your physical form, and then we'll go more into that next week. So when you're thinking of all this, I want you to keep something in mind. Physicist David Bohm, I've spoken on this before. A good way to view this in your mind is like the ocean. We've been given a beautiful metaphor of a physical reality in the earth, and that's the ocean. It's vast, it's expansive, it holds life, and it holds the potential, like the quantum field, for everything. So when a wave manifests out of the ocean, it is the manifestation of the all, but it's no surprise because it's just a manifestation of what you already were in the essence of the ocean. It was just a reason to manifest that part of your life or to manifest your authenticity, but it's always coming from the all. So you never look for anything outside of you to tell you who you are. And you know that lie that we used to believe, that the heart is deceitful, don't trust yourself, be careful of this? That's BS. I could say a lot of things. I don't hold back when I'm around people I love. I'm just not going to do it on a video. It's BS, folks. It's total BS. There's no credible logic to this. I think the reason I'm so passionate about this is I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to hold my place, but I'm going to tell you a story. When my dad discovered the whole born again thing, he never believed in it. You got to walk that aisle, got to get saved. He sat me down one day and he said to me, love this man. He goes, Deborah, are you stupid or what to believe that shit? And I thought to myself, oh no, I needed it. I needed everything, that I was going to rise in the ranks of prophetic power and I was going to be somebody. And it was all a lie. I have more joy, more peace, more authenticity than I've ever had. And it didn't come from all that. It led me to this point and I honor. So now let's talk about the ocean when you manifest. So we're learning all this, and it's all theory. You're going to walk away and you're going to go, this is great. But then how do you navigate your day? Let me tell you how I navigate my day. I do different types of meditation, not because I have to, but because I love it. Roberto loves to do a centering prayer. I do a centering prayer with him, but I also listen to Milan on the YouTube because I am a sound person. And when I'm listening to sound healing, whatever hertz it's at, it gets into the core of my being, infuses itself into my DNA, and that births intuition, it births dreams, it births visions. So I become quiet with an awareness that I am able to connect to that which is above me. And I've had to learn that which is part of me that New Agers have taught. That's very great. The church would never have taught this, which I won't go there again. So I want to go over these last few things quickly, and then we'll continue next week. And what I'll do is from now to next week, I will continue to post things on Facebook. I was a teacher, so I can reinforce what I'm saying to you. I know how to get you to next week and reinforce all this stuff. I know how to reinforce the learning so that you're not feeling like you forget. I know how to do all that, and I'm getting better at it because I'm walking in the fullness of who I am. So now, here I am. I'm in the world physically. I am divine energy. If you look at ancient wisdom, I'm studying sacred geometry. Some ancient traditions believe that to get to this physical reality, you're going to go through the 7 heavenly halls. Makes sense to me when I look at it. Because when you really think about it, how do I manifest this body on earth? Do I suddenly plop into my mother's womb and there I'm born? Or do I still, if I'm coming from an energetic field, if I'm coming from the source of divine wisdom and knowledge and knowing, do I just come and then plop out and then there I am, just a physical form? Or have I forgotten that I'm more than that? Have I forgotten that there are energy fields that go out from me and they also serve a purpose? They link with my chakras, which are not just sacred geometry. This might be something different. He says in the sacred geometry course that the chakras are in front of you and behind you. And they're connected to this golden divine energy flow throughout your whole body. So they can only contain so much power. And that's the purpose of what's around you in this field of your subtle energy body. That is where your essence is flowing into your emotions and how you manifest in the earth. So if you have a blockage in your energy, a blockage in these chakras, you go to a Reiki healer for them to help you discern, or you begin to take time in meditation. You look into your subconscious need of healing of any of the lies you believed. Sue Morter is a great person on the internet to listen to about what happens when you're blocked and how you could be unblocked in so many areas, but if there's 2 blockages, it's going to change your perception. That's called woundedness. So my first advice to you is be brave and be courageous in facing yourself and be healed. Face the good things, face the not so good things, and every time something is brought up in you, do not run from it in fear, but ask yourself, where is this wound coming from? Get past the triggers, past the deconstruction to the best of your ability to do that. If you need help, get it. Yes, Carolyn Leaf is another good one. Carolyn Miss is a good one. There's so many online. So what happens is you have to look at yourself, because this all has to start within and not without. I can tell you all this and you can weigh all this and it could become great theory for you. But what'll happen is you'll never practice this in your daily life, so my words will be useless to you. So there's a subtle energy body in which consciousness expresses itself through our light force. And if you want to get even deeper, the whole all is built upon sacred forms called sacred geometry that infiltrate everything, everyone, and everywhere that come from the thought form of God. God has designated throughout the universe that there are certain basic geometric patterns and structures that give life to your life force, but that's another topic. That astounds me. So this subtle energy body is governed by sacred geometry, the tree of life. Some call it the Merkaba. It's the love that was in the Jewish Kabbalah. Every ancient tradition shows a connection to the divine realm. Nobody but Christianity cuts you off with rules and regulations, not according to the traditions that I'm learning. There's always an open portal to the divine realm, and you don't need to go through any man or woman or patriarchy or any kind of form to get there. You have it all within you. So this divine energy reality that surrounds you in your aura has different realities within it that make you you. And this energy body around you transmits information from the field. That's why some people with their psychic abilities call them prophets, call them psychics, call them clairvoyants, call them clairaudience. Doesn't matter. It's the subtle energy awareness of what is happening outside of time and space that you are able to read the energy. Are you able to know? So some people can read auras. Some people you can get healed through energy heals that focus on chakras. And so that's so much in the days ahead. So the divine energy realities that surround you make you you. And this energy body transmits information from the field that is interpreted beautifully within heart-brain coherence, not through the mind. So how you transmit the information that the field is giving you, which is already in the energy field around you, is never just through the mind. It's never through a logical understanding. The mind will broadcast the energy, but it is the magnetic reality of the heart that pulls the magnetism in ability to manifest. So when you're doing meditations, there comes attitudes of gratefulness. It all stems back to the heart. I've had intuitive readings by people that have had incredible hearts, and they've counseled me and spoke to me more than any so-called prophet has ever done. I've had astrological readings that were not woo-woo, that's focused on areas of when I was born, at the time I was born, what are the basic characteristics of who I am? And they said astounding things to me. Why did I receive from them? Because it was not just ego. It was not a way to make money. It was from the heart. It all goes back to the heart. If you want to increase your psychic awareness, you're not going to increasing it through the mind. The more gratitude and the more joy and the more love and the more healing you undergo, the awareness of the conscious realm around you is going to open up. And that was basically what Jesus taught. He said, I and the Father are one. And when you know this, you're going to do what you see the Father doing. It's not a program. It's not an agenda. It's an unfolding of a flow of awareness, first of that which is within you to manifest it outside of you. So to end with this very quick, we'll expound on this in the days ahead because I'm going to start going into this in greater detail. Chakras are spinning energy centers that receive and express subtle energy. We know it, but have you had your chakras looked at? Do you actually know when your chakra is blocked? Are you suffering with physical symptoms that indicate perhaps a blocked chakra? Are you suffering with stress? Because the chakras are sometimes a clear indication of where you're blocked and what might be going on in your life. This is not theory or hearsay. This is reality that is perceived by someone who is intuitively moving from the heart and knows how to do this, which you are able to do too. So these chakras are anchored and they produce harmony and they produce grounding and they produce self-expression. So it's a given fact that if someone's off, okay, I've told this story before. When my husband died, I had so many intestinal problems for months. Why was that? Well, if you do research, that's the root chakra. My identity, when all of a sudden I was moving forward in life and things were supposed to start happening, everything was gone. It disrupted our family. It disrupted my life. It disrupted my finances. It disrupted where I lived. And suddenly the very grounding of what I formed in my identity was emanating through irritable bowel syndrome, through problems in that realm, because the rootness of who I was being deconstructed. And God within me had to speak to me so clearly. And within me, that true self rose up and said to me, was Marvin your God? What did he supply everything you needed? Was he your God and you don't think you can do this all within yourself? And I was confronted with hard facts, and I was confronted in the midst of grief with all of this. And folks, it was not fun. But there is a purpose and a reality to the beauty of these chakras to get them into balance. And we'll talk about that next week. If they're blocked, they spin slower and they throw us off emotionally and physically. And the aura I've known people that see auras, they see colors. This is the subtle energy around you. And they say that there's 7 realms intimately linked to the chakra. I'll say these and then I'm out of here. Number 1. The etheric energy field around you is closest to the body. It's the root chakra. It's the seat of pleasure and pain. That's the energy that almost forms like an egg around you. The emotional, subtle energy body is responsible for understanding yourself, feelings, and emotion. It's the sacral chakra. The mental, which is the solar plexus, is where thoughts are formed. That's your gut. That's your gut feeling. It's thoughts and a clear mind and perception and processing of things. The 4th is the heart. It is the astral subtle energy body. It is the seat of relationship with the universe. That is the seat of creativity. You can't create from just the mind, a linear, logical brain type mind. You're going to create from the heart. So then also the 5th chakra is the etheric template. And that is the throat. And it is how to connect with the world around us, holds the blueprint for what exists on the physical plane. Then there's the celestial, which is the 3rd eye chakra, the level of divine love. I would tell you to start searching through YouTube, find some videos that have a very high hertz, and go to Meilan and see the sound healing she does to clear your chakras, to connect you to some people are really locked down. They're living in so much of I feel very sorry for you in a way. If whoever who sees this and you're locked down in fear and just such a physical world, because folks, what's coming is going to upset our foundational realities, and we're going to flow on through based upon the heart. And the 7th subtle energy body is the etheric template, and this is the crown chakra. Okay, so what am I saying? Thank you for sticking with me for a bit longer. This is just me. This is the direction I'm going. I love it more than you can ever know. I'm not mad at where I came from, but I do think it made me ignorant. I think it made me dumb down where my light didn't shine brilliantly because I abdicated my authenticity to a system that didn't give a crap about me. It was just hell-bent on literal interpretations of words and also classical physics on cause and effect. Do this and you get that. So I do not have anything to prove. So when people write long diatribes on my posts, I'm just going to delete them. My page, if that's what you think, more power to you. Go to your page and post that. Don't debate with me. You're not going to get in. I have nothing to prove and I have nothing to lose. And I'm happy if I could spark one thing in you, that it would be to be who you are. That's all I want from you, and that is my purpose here. So I love you. You guys have a great day. Share this. Leave comments. I'll check them out later. Thanks for watching. I'm very grateful for every single one of you taking the time to watch this. And for those of you who are more experienced in this than me, which I know people that are Reiki healers, give me a lot of grace. And if you have anything you can share with me to help me, I'm giving the overview of this for people. I'm not a Reiki healer. I'm not any of that, but I'm putting all this out there, being who I am, to instill your curiosity. I love you guys very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening.